Hello, my name is Erin. I'm going to go over the explanations for quiz number 6 in this video. The first question asked why no pressure at the static port would be an indicator of a high velocity. Using the Bernoulli equation, B1 equals B2. B1 are the static ports, B2 are the pitot ports. And at the for the pitot port, there's a stagnation point, and at the velocity at the stagnation point is 0, which I've notated over here. So we don't need to include that in the Bernoulli equation when comparing B1 to B2. So then you have the equation which is in the top row, and then we'll assume that the height for the static port and the pitot port are the same. So then solving for the velocity at the static port, you would get this equation. If the static ports are covered, P1 may read close to 0. So imagine if there was no value for P1, P2 minus nothing would increase the value for velocity. So that's why the airplane was reading such a high velocity. It didn't have the P1 the pressure at the pitot port to subtract from the pressure at the static port. So that's what this equation would look like for velocity. And then number 2, if a low pressure is associated with a high altitude and the static tube was covered, which results in a low to no pressure reading, then that would be the reason for a constant and high altitude. The tape stayed on throughout the entire flight. Pressure remained close to 0, if not 0, for the entire flight. So high altitude would be the reading. Thanks.